Welcome to Nature's Newsroom here in Glasgow at COP26. My name is Anthony Hobley. I'm the Co-Executive Director of the Mission+Possible Partnership and also an Executive Fellow at the World Economic Forum. I'm here with my two guests, the CEO of Dalmia Cement, Mahendra Singhi, and also the CEO of Royal Schiphol Group, Schiphol Airport, Dick Benschop. We've got a great discussion ahead of us from two very different sectors, cement and aviation, albeit I guess it takes a lot of cement to build an airport, so there's always a connection here. Yesterday was Industry Day and today is Transport Day, and there's a lot of announcements coming out of Glasgow. Perhaps one of the successes as we look back on COP26 in Glasgow is the first public-private COP, where we actually see real, tangible announcements and collaborations between the public sector and the private sector. The Mission+Possible Partnership focuses on the decarbonisation of the so-called harder-to-abate sectors. Materials like cement, chemicals, steel, aluminium, mobility, shipping, aviation, trucking. And in a sense, we have a vision that we make this real, that we will have an infographic that sets out how many green steel plants that we need by 2030, how many green aluminium plants, how many zero emissions trucks, zero emissions ships, airports that are facilitating low carbon and eventually zero emissions flights. That is the target. In a sense, we're bringing 2050 forward. But to achieve that, we will need a lot of collaboration. In the Mission+Possible Partnership, we are setting out high ambition industry-backed roadmaps that show us how we get there with those key milestones, such as 240 million tonnes of green steel by 2030, that 10% of all aviation fuel will be sustainable aviation fuel by 2030. So how do we make that happen? How do we get the choreography between those supplying those materials, those buying those materials, and we had the first movers coalition announced by President Biden last week, companies prepared to pay a green premium for those products. Finance, who's going to finance the green steel plants and the sustainable aviation fuel plants and the sustainable cement plants? And finally, which are the most ambitious governments who will provide the policy that will attract that inward investment, those jobs, that tax revenue? Perhaps, Mahendra, I could start with you. Your company is global, worldwide, your facilities all over the place, but you know, you come from India, yes, and a lot of your facilities are in India. And India is going to be critically important. As it grows, there will be a lot of demand for materials like cement and steel. How do you work in this sort of public-private collaboration between business and government to sort of start that transition?
Great question. First, I would say each and every organization has to have some strategy about how they would be going to net zero. And once those strategy and actions are clear, then definitely they can go for collaboration. So for Dalmia Cement, like we committed for carbon negative by 2040 and identified few levers by which it is possible and which definitely needs collaboration, one with the government also, and government policies also, and at the same time with the private players also. So we don't limit partnership to public and private, but we also extend it to private and private. And second, I would like to say Mission+Possible Partnership has made this hard-to-abate cement sector as possible to abate cement sector. Now to get the policies favorable to achieve these targets.
So let's shift then from cement to aviation, an airport. I mean, what's the role of an airport in facilitating this transition? One would expect, you know, that you would have companies building the planes, you would have airlines flying the planes, but there's a critical role, isn't there, in that transition for the airports that actually facilitate
yes,
travel?
of course, we need everybody, and it starts with commitment, and that's there now for aviation as well, in line with Paris, net zero in 2050. So now it comes to the action, and from the what to the how. There's elements of innovation where you need every party. We need electric flying, we need hydrogen flying. That needs new infrastructure at the airports at some point in time. But the big first push, and we know we have to start to make meters now. It's not just about 2050s. What do we now in the coming years is all about sustainable aviation fuels. Like in the rest of the other energy sectors as well, we have to go from the carbon-based fuel to a green fuel.
So you're both CEOs of important companies, and you're here in Glasgow. Generally, these COPs have been going on now for 26 years, and they've rarely attracted business leaders, CEOs. Why are CEOs
I remember
attending?
number 6 and 7 because I was a deputy minister in the Netherlands and I was negotiating at the then COPs. It was just in one hotel. It was a much smaller affair. So on the one hand you can be, 26, are we not there yet? Are we still discussing carbon prices, etc.? Why is this not done? Why is that not done? But I see now a tremendous involvement from business, including my own sector, and the willingness to collaborate and then just bring it together. The regulation we need, the pricing and the markets.
But why CEOs here now? I mean, there's many out there that would say that business has captured the process and this is greenwashing.
Absolutely not. This is what we are going to do. This is what we are committed to, and that's why we are here. Not just to show that, but to work together to realize it.
In many ways, you would ask why aren't the activists outside the offices of the companies who are not here? That's maybe a better question, Mahendra.
So what I would say that when CEOs are being also given prominence and importance by the government and civil societies, then CEOs are also obligated to act fast and to show the actions and commitments as early as possible. And I would say COP26 has really made the business and the country and the civil societies together. And it can definitely give climate of hope that everything would be possible. And by 2030, one can have a sigh of relief that yes, we will be able to bring or keep the temperature below 2 degrees.
How important is collaboration? I mean, no one cement company, no one airline or airport can do this on their own. So how important is it to collaborate with other companies in your sector and with other sectors?
So one important thing is whatever your actions are, make it public. Then share with the other cement companies also, because we are just not working for one company, but we are working for all stakeholders. The way we could do it in 2018, and now I'm happy to share that many cement companies globally, they have gone for net zero cement and concrete by 2050. So those collaborations and the actions which is being supported by government, various governments, that's their only thing which is lacking at the moment for developing country is the green finance or the finance commitment.
So taking that, how are you working across the supply chain then with companies from those who actually use your airport and the services and those flights to those who build the planes?
Yeah, and of course in the Netherlands we are a big fuel country as well. There is a lot of refining, so there's a few transitions going on together in the Netherlands, not just Schiphol and KLM and the airport and the airlines involving the customers, but then also getting the production going. And I think we are going to solve this chicken and egg problem, demand versus supply. It's going to happen. So then you see in the harbors of Amsterdam and Rotterdam, you'll see the transition in the harbor, in the refineries taking place as well. And that will give a big boost. And then on the innovation side, whether it's Zero Avia, with whom we are working together on hydrogen, whether it's Airbus, and there's a Dutch industry contributing to that as well. And you see this element of everybody coming together and making it happen. You see it accelerating. And throughout COVID, whether it's COVID related or not does not even matter, but this one is accelerating, including the collaboration.
Dick and Singhi, thank you so much. This has been an excellent conversation. What I take away from this is about collaboration, and
yes.
Public-private collaboration is so critically important, but it's also collaboration within sectors, and across supply chains, and with finance. Thank you so.
I saw one joke in a Dutch newspaper, which was, in Glasgow there's a commitment to reduce finger pointing by 50%. So we just have to look at ourselves and not just at the others.
Well, let's see if that's...
And I would say that since today is Transport Day, so cement sector is also working in a big way to moving from, say, fossil fuel transport to electric fuel transport.
Excellent. Well, let's see if the finger pointing point makes it into the final text on Friday/Saturday. But it's been a pleasure discussing industry transition with both of you. Thank you.
And thanks to WEF.
You are most welcome.